And we are live. Welcome back to Takes by Fans. We got a great show for you today, as always, but there's no time for introductions because today is our Sunday pregame show, folks, and we only have an hour today. Usually we like to go an hour and a half, hour 45. We even did a 2-hour, 22-minute episode a couple of weeks ago, but we are restricted to an hour today because we got to get off the air so we can relax and sit back and watch all the ones and the fours in the late game. So we just got to kick it off today. We're going to be looking at inactives, in-outs, last second ins, last second outs. What's going to be, who are we watching today? We don't even know what the heck are we watching today. So we're going to figure that out. Inactives, actives. We got to check the lines, go over our bets, see if there's any movement, any better value. Did we not get the best value we could? Should we have waited till an hour out to get the maximum value, or did we secure the great value on Friday's show? So we've got all that to go over. So let's just jump right into it, and here we go, officially active and inactive. Let's start with the active. Carson Wentz is gonna be going today. Wow, real interesting. Now, it's kind of a do or die scenario here with this Colts team, and that's probably why they are playing Carson Wentz. I mean, they're 0-2. Nobody wants to start 0-3. They're on the road, division opponent with the Titans, a real brutal matchup. And if you throw Brett Hundley out there, that's a loss. If you throw Jacob Eason out there, that's a loss. If you throw Carson Wentz out there, he could potentially get re-injured. I mean, this man has had 3 injuries. He sprained both of his ankles, folks. This is now 3 injuries in the last month? No, I mean, in that kind of, a couple of weeks before the start of the season, that bone in his foot, the same injury that the lineman had that kept him out for, a couple of games, a couple of the preseason games. So it's I don't know. I don't know if I would have started Carson Wentz. I think I take the L. But once again, you don't want to start 0-3. So this is a real tough decision Frank Reich is making right here. He believes Carson Wentz is good to go, that he can be out on the football field and still do everything and not kind of jeopardize his health too much out here. But like I said, I mean, if this Colts team was up 2-0, 2-0 going into week 3 or 2-0 going into week 3. Maybe you probably sit Carson Wentz for 1 week. Hey, don't rush anything. It's a long season, the extended game, all of that, extended playoffs, all of that. So, if you are, up 2-0, 2 wins, 0 losses heading into week 3, you could be like, we don't want to lose, obviously, but maybe we can afford to not win this week and have Carson Wentz kind of, a lot more healthy come week 4. So real tough place for this Colts team in general, and they're going to be rocking with Carson Wentz, but they also are dressing other quarterbacks, and we're going to talk about that in a second. But Carson Wentz is going to get the start, and we'll see how those newborn calf ankles hold up today against the Titans on the road where they need a win. So it's a tough start to the season here for this Colts team, but they're trying to do what's best, and it's tough, man. I don't know. I'm glad I'm not the head coach here for the Colts, because I think I would have sat Carson Wentz. I know, even down 0-2 heading into week 3, I still think I sit him, but they're going to start him, and we'll see what he can do out there. But Carson Wentz is going to get the start. DeAndre Hopkins is going to play here for the Cardinals this week as well. There was a little bit of a uncertainty as the week was progressing, but here we are. DeAndre Hopkins, Kyler Murray, ready to rock and ready to show that explosive offense again. Joey Bosa for the Chargers, definitely going to need him to pass rush Patty Mahomes back there, so that's a huge in for the Chargers. Chris Jones and DeAndre Swift are also all active, so we'll see if DeAndre Swift can do anything here for the Lions and help them get that first win. Alrighty, now let's talk about the inactives. We got Trent Brown inactive, T. Higgins. So now Joe Burrow, who are you going to be throwing to? He's out. We got Frank Clark is out. Trey Flowers is out. Trey Waynes is out. Josh Uche is out. Marlon Mack is out for the Colts. So now we got a little bit of a beat-up Carson Wentz, and now one of their 3 great running backs are out. So we could still rely on the running game heavy with, Jonathan Taylor and Nyheim Hines. They are more than capable of getting it done without Marlon Mack. But, I mean, if you had all 3 complement running backs, Carson Wentz really wouldn't have needed to throw a pass the entire game. So we'll see how much running they're doing here. I would expect a lot of running plays from this Colts team, but no Marlon Mack, kind of their number 2 running back, but we think all their running backs are number 1, honestly, folks. So no Marlon Mack, but the other 2 are good. No CJ Henderson, no Matt Lanatis, and Anthony Fursker, the tight end out there. Unfortunate, no, Anthony Fursker, tight end university out there, so we can't shout him out on Tuesday's show. How truly unfortunate. And then Tashawn Gibson also out today. So some big names out, but some also big names that potentially could have been out, but they're going to make the go here for week 3. We know it's a tough week. Some teams are 0-2. Let's quickly check the 0-2 teams that really kind of need a win this week. I mean, if you go down 0-3, I don't want the statistics on that because it's probably not very good that you make the playoffs or win the Super Bowl or anything like that. So must wins this week. Colts 0-2 with the Cole Carson Wentz, like we've been talking about for the first 6 minutes of the show, folks. That is big here, and I think they have to kind of start tempering down the expectations of, hey, we're probably going to go 0-3, but try not to worry. Hopefully they can get back on board. This has been a brutal start to the season here for the Colts, not because of their injuries and all that, but just who they've been facing. Jeez Louise, tough matchups every single week, and week 3 is no different here. Titans on the road, jeez Louise. So Colts down 0-2. They need a win tonight, and it's going to be a tough one to get. Then we got the Falcons and the Giants both down 0-2, and I'm loving the Giants here, folks. I am so loving this Giants team. I really think they blow out the Falcons. One of our picks this week in our 6 locks that we've got are Giants -3, and I absolutely love that. And I'm interested to see if that value has climbed any, because I would kind of say we've got who's in and out. Wasn't there somebody in and out here for this Giants team? We'll get to it in a second. But yeah, Giants, Falcons, both down 0-2. One of them's going to go 0-3, so we'll see who that's going to be, but I don't think it's going to be the Giants. They get back on track. The slow start has officially come to an end, and they're ready to start competing in this division. So Giants, Falcons, one of them's going to get a win. The other one's season is probably over by the end of this week. How unfortunate. Chargers, Chiefs, both 1-1. Bengals, Steelers, both 1-1. Browns, Bears, both 1-1. And Justin Fields get to start. Yes, sir. Justin Fields' first start, and we can't wait to see him. Unfortunately, he comes against the Browns on the road. How unfortunate. But both teams 1-1. We get Ravens, Lions. Lions 0-2. We could probably see them being 0-3. Saints, Patriots, both 1-1. Cardinals, Jags, Cardinals 2-0. Jaguars 0-2. Now, we have watched Trevor Lawrence, and we loved what we saw from him in week 2. They just need to find ways to complete drives and get it done and put up the points, and hopefully their defense, can stop this great Cardinals offense so far of what we've been seeing this season. With DeAndre Hopkins now, going to make it a little bit harder for this Jaguars team to win this game, to advance to 1-2, but Trevor Lawrence gonna have to keep up pace with Kyler Murray throwing. We like what we saw from Trevor Lawrence, but I don't think he's at the Kyler Murray kind of level just quite yet. So Jaguars, do or die today. Don't fall down 0-3. Jets, Broncos. Jets down 0-2, but this is a real tough game. We just heard from Zach Wilson saying, hey, I'm really kind of, excited to get back out there. Not so much anxious, but I'm ready to rock this week. I'm putting last week behind me. I'm learning from it. I'm moving on, and I'm ready. Clean slate here against the Broncos. It's going to be a real tough game. Mile high altitude plus this Broncos defense, plus just Teddy Bridgewater's been moving the ball all the first 2 weeks of this season, folks. He's been putting up the points, moving the ball, picking up crucial first downs, airing out the ball, stretching the field vertically. This is a great Broncos team, and just the timing is not lining up so far for this Jets team early on in the season. So it's going to be tough for them to avoid the 0-3 start on the road. Oh, man. We get Dolphins 1-1, Raiders 2-0. We get Seahawks, Vikings. Vikings down 0-2, and get this, folks, no Dalvin Cook today. Oh man, no Dalvin Cook. That's a huge piece of this offense, and we know that Kirk Cousins and Dalvin Cook, they put up the stats. They always put up the stats. They're always great. I mean, we can look what Dalvin Cook has done these last 2 weeks, and when I say that they're 0-2 to start the season, you're like, how is that even possible? So Week 1, when they had to go and face Hang on, I'm looking for the Vikings here, folks. The Bengals. Yeah, they lost to the Bengals in overtime. How unfortunate. But Dalvin Cook, 61 yards rushing. Kirk Cousins, 351 yards passing. 2 touchdowns. It's unfortunate. Dalvin Cook fumbled in overtime. They lose because of that. That's a little bit more granted of like, okay, they lost the game because Dalvin Cook fumbled. But then last week when they faced the Cardinals, Kirk Cousins, 244 passing yards, 3 touchdowns. Dalvin Cook, 131 rushing yards. I mean, sheesh. They were getting it done, but it both results into losses. So now we've got this Vikings team that just can't finish the game. Dalvin Cook fumbles in overtime. They lose the game because of that. Last week, they missed the game-winning field goal, 30-something yards, 37 yards, a chip shot, and you miss it. So there's no clutch ability on this Vikings team, and now you're taking away kind of your best player. I'm taking Dalvin Cook over Kirk Cousins, and that's no disrespect to Kirk Cousins, but that's just, Kirk Cousins doesn't result in wins, and neither does Dalvin Cook, and it's just so unfortunate with these Vikings teams, but no Dalvin Cook today. Let's read this tweet by Adam Schefter. As the week progressed, there was a less confident tone that Vikings running back Dalvin Cook would play Sunday versus Seattle due to his sprained ankle. So Dalvin Cook sprained ankle out. Carson Wentz, 2 sprained ankles, good to go. I mean, I flip-flopped that. Dalvin Cook, he doesn't have that injury history. Carson Wentz does, so I'm playing Dalvin Cook. I'm not playing Carson Wentz, but they went flip-flop on us, folks. We'll see if that's the right move. So Cook didn't practice all week. It's early in season, and going into pregame warm-ups, it was considered, quote, unlikely he plays. So don't expect Dalvin Cook out there for this Vikings team, and they're trying to avoid going down 0-3, folks. So not looking the greatest here for this Vikings team. We'll see if they can overcome it. We get Bucs-Rams, which is easily going to be the best game of the week. Both 2-0. Going to be an absolutely great one. And no Antonio Brown today for this Bucs team. So how is that going to play out? Because week one for Antonio Brown, he had 5 catches for 121 yards, led the team in receiving, and they win that game close. And then last week, he only had 1 catch for 17 yards, but they blow out the Falcons and put up like 45-plus points, no problem. So we know they can move the ball. Tom Brady doesn't need Antonio Brown, but he's a nice little Lamborghini, a nice luxury weapon out there, so nobody's going to turn down Antonio Brown, but we can still expect this Bucs team to be very, very well offensively. Now, what makes it good here for this Rams team is that now there's just less great people to cover, so now you can put Jalen Ramsey. He's probably going to be covering Mike Evans, but if Antonio Brown was playing, do you let him cover Antonio Brown, or do you just still keep him with Mike Evans? So that's kind of the biggest thing. Antonio Brown being out isn't going to affect the Bucs offense, but it's going to help the Rams defense just a little bit because, you only got one Jalen Ramsey on your team, and you can't cover everybody, so less options out there for Jalen Ramsey to absolutely lock up. All right, Packers, 49ers. Packers 1-1, 49ers 2-0, and then the Monday night game, Eagles, Cowboys. So it's truly unfortunate. Vikings down 0-2, no Dalvin Cook potential, down 0-3. Jets down 0-2, having to go to Denver, mile high. Jaguars having to face the Cardinals and having to keep up with that explosive offense. We believe that Trevor Lawrence can be up to the occasion to try to go tit for tat, toe for toe with Kyler Murray, but we liked what we saw. We liked what we saw from him passing the ball. It was great, but his stat column obviously was not good. But they need to put up more points, and that defense is going to have a tough day going against Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins in that complement of Cardinals offensive weapons. So hopefully this is a week Trevor Lawrence steps up. Don't want to see them go down 0-3, but against this Cardinals team, more likely than not. Lions down 0-2, so we could really kind of see potentially 4 or 5 teams being 0-3 next week heading into week 4. So win or die, kind of, season's on the line 3 weeks into the season for a lot of these teams, and hopefully they get it going, get on track to make it a competitive season throughout. We don't want anybody's fan base to kind of, be out of the season and not, interested in the season anymore because their team is kind of already mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. But, oh man, got to get that first win, that first coveted win, and then people build upon that. It's 3 weeks into the season, and so far, a couple of teams don't got wins, so that's kind of what we're looking at so far. As we said, Colts will dress 3 quarterbacks today. Carson Wentz is going to get the start, but they are going to be dressing Jacob Eason and Brett Hundley. So we'll see how that turns out and if Carson Wentz can go the entire game of not getting injured. Alrighty, another quarterback that is going to be playing today is Jacoby Brissett for the Dolphins because they just placed Tua Tagovailoa on IR. Truly unfortunate, but I mean, what is going on with this Tua story? First, it was like, okay, he's good, his ribs are good, it's just pain tolerance. He got a little banged up, but there was no breaking, no fractures, nothing like that, no sprains. It was just, hey, it was a big hit, got a big hit, and they got a little sore. He had to sit out. And then it went from, they're a little fractured, but once again, it's just pain tolerance. He's not going to be missing any time. And then it's, oh no, they're broken. He's got broken ribs, and he's going on IR for at least 3 to 4 weeks. So it's like, y'all couldn't have told us that a little bit earlier. We were buying Tua. We wanted to see Tua this week, holding these, stringing along these Dolphins fans. Oh, we're going to get Tua this week. Tua, yeah. But, and it's, oh no, he's got broken ribs. Oh, yeah, those are broken ribs. So they played the long game here with Tua, but they eventually had to put him on IR, so he is going to be missing 3 to 4 weeks at minimum, and we hope those ribs heal very quickly and he can get out there on the field again to hopefully prove everybody wrong, because this man's been getting kind of knocked over and over again in the media, and this was going on throughout the entire offseason, and he only had 2 games, really only 1 game, because he had like 4 passes in the second game before he got injured, but he wants to prove and shut up these kind of haters and doubters in the mainstream media that give this man no credit. So unfortunate that he's going to have to, postpone that even longer. But no Tua today. We'll see what Jacoby Brissett can do. I'm not the biggest Jacoby Brissett believer. But we'll see what he was doing here when he was taking all the reps with the first teams this entire week, kind of knowing, I'm sure internally they were like, Jacoby, you're going to go this week, but we're going to tell the media the ribs are fine. But Jacoby, just between us, the ribs are fucked. Those ribs are fucked onto a goddamn. But you're going to be going. Don't listen to the media. We're just going to, kind of wait a little bit till we officially release it. But you're going to get the first teams with the ones. You're going to be the guy. Don't listen to what we're saying in the media. So, unfortunate for Tua, and we hope a speedy recovery. Alrighty, quickly, let's get all the final inactives, actives out of the way. Anybody, any of the lesser kind of known players. So here we go. DeAndre Hopkins, like we said, is active here. Russell Gage, wide receiver for Atlanta, is out. So that's definitely going to hurt them. I mean, they've been struggling to move the ball and put up points and all that. So you're taking away one of the number 2 wide receivers here for the Falcons. It's not going to be as easy as they were going to think to win this game, also on the road and all that. So we are truly loving the Giants this week, and we're going to look at what the spread is in a second and see if there's any good kind of prop bets to take, but no Russell Gage here for Atlanta. Lamar Jackson is active. He was a little bit of an illness 2 weeks ago. People were like, oh, he hurt his hip on the flip and all that. But no, it was just a little bit of an illness. He's good, not COVID, anything like that. So Lamar Jackson is active. Marquise Brown is also active. A little bit of a doubt there heading into Sunday. Andy Dalton is out, and he's going to be out for potentially extended periods of time, which is great because when Matt Nagy is forced to make a decision between 2 things, he always makes the wrong one. So now we finally get Justin Fields out here for potentially a couple of weeks, and hopefully he shows out to, show to Matt Nagy, hey, if Andy Dalton's coming back at all this season, he's not going to be playing because I'm the guy. I can still do this. So no Andy Dalton this week, we know, and it's going to be Justin Fields' time to shine, and we'll get another update on Andy Dalton in a second. Marquise Goodwin here is active here for Chicago, the wide receiver. Once again, going to help Justin Fields out a little bit. Darnell Mooney also active. So once again, he's having his full complement of weapons here. And we don't love these Bears weapons, but so we definitely need all of them to be accessible for Justin Fields to have success. So all of them are going to be good to go. T. Higgins, wide receiver for the Bengals, is inactive, like we said, so it's going to hurt Joe Burrow. DeAndre Swift is active. Khalif Raymond, wide receiver for Detroit, is active, helping Jared Goff out a little bit. Carson Wentz, like we said. Kenny Galladay is also active here for the Giants. Another reason why we love the Giants here. And I would really expect this kind of line to move to kind of Giants -4. And we're going to take a look at that. It was -3 when we predicted the line and when we took the line. But after all this news coming out of actives and inactives and everything that's been going on the last couple of days, I would really kind of expect Vegas to raise that line to Giants -4. And we're going to take a look at that. Evan Ingram also active. Another reason why this line should go up. Let's just check the line right now. I can't wait for the suspense anymore. I gotta see. Vegas, are you moving this line? Because I would kind of say so. I would be like, if I was a spread maker, what do we got? 40 minutes away from kickoff, I'd be like, yeah, I would move that line to Giants -4. So let's see what it is. Here we go. Giants, Falcons, and it's still only -3. The value is still there, folks. Alrighty, get that value. We love it, folks. Evan Ingram, Kenny Golladay, everybody's good to go. I really think this Giants offense gets out to the start that we were kind of hoping they would get out to week 1. I think they just run and throw all over this Falcons team, and they can't keep up. Loving the Giants today, folks. And I'm going to call this disrespectful value. We haven't found any disrespectful value here in week 3, but this is the disrespectful value. Only making the Giants -3. They should at least be -4. Shame on Vegas. And we're about to hit a lick on this Vegas, disrespect, keeping the Giants at -3. I'm loving the Giants here, folks. One of our locks. It's going to hit. Can't wait. All right, Deontay Johnson is out for the Steelers, and that's not good because they need to start moving the ball offensively. They haven't really been moving the ball. They got shut out the first half against the Bills week 1. They started to get it going a little bit when the defense was creating turnovers in the special teams, creating turnovers and all that, short fields for the Steelers, so they put up the points, but they weren't moving the ball. And then last week, they moved the ball kind of like twice downfield, but once again, they didn't really put up that many points, and then they end up losing the game. So having Deontay Johnson out, it's going to hurt Big Ben a little bit. Now, Big Ben is like totally fine now. He doesn't even have an injury designation. We've been kind of keeping track with that pectoral injury they've been floating around, but so far, or as of today, that pectoral injury is really nothing anymore. So Big Ben's good, but not having Deontay Johnson out there is going to hurt him in the passing game just a little bit. We know they've still got other great wide receivers to work with, so they're just not going to have that depth, but they really need all hands on the deck here to avoid going down 1-2. All right, then, like we said, Anthony Firkser, tight end for the Titans, is out, so that's definitely going to affect their game a little bit, and we'll see if the Colts can kind of take advantage of a no-great tight end game here for the Titans, but Derrick Henry is going to be the one that you truly have to watch out for. All right, and then on the defensive side of the ball, we got Brian Murphy Jr. active for Arizona, so going to help, lock up Trevor Lawrence's weapons. We get A.J. Terrell, cornerback for Atlanta, out with a concussion. Why we love the Giants -3, and why is disrespectful value not moving that line to Giants -4? Right there, A.J. Terrell, no number 1 cornerback. I believe he's the number 1 cornerback here for Atlanta. We get Derek Wolfe, edge rusher for Baltimore. He is out, so we get Jared Goff a little bit comfortable out there. Deshaun Elliott, safety for Baltimore, also active. He is active with a concussion, but he's good to go. Brandon Williams, defensive tackle for Baltimore. He is out on the COVID-19 list. Justin Houston, linebacker for Baltimore, out on the COVID-19 list. So this Baltimore Ravens defense, and, maybe a little bit banged up here, going against the Lions offense. We'll see if it's finally time for Detroit to get their first win of the season. See if they take advantage. All right, we get Levi Wallace for the Bills, cornerback, active. Akeem Hicks, active for the Bears. Akeem Hicks. Eddie Goldman, defensive tackle for the Bears, inactive. Bilal Nichols, defensive tackle for the Bears, active. These are a lot. I mean, like we said, we kind of highlighted most of them. Let's head over to Bud Dupree, linebacker for the Titans, is active. That's going to be big. TJ Watt is out for the Steelers. That's going to be big for them, out as well. So the Steelers are really going to have to do all their work offensively, defensively to get the win here. Big names on the offense, big names on the defense out. All right, what else do we got here? Any other big names? Frank Clark for Kansas City is inactive, edge rusher. So like we said, some big names offensively, defensively out. Jamie Collins for Detroit is out as well. I believe they are trying to trade him, so that's kind of why he's out. So Bud Dupree, I'm glad that he's back, and hopefully he can make a big impact here and get after Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz, bad ankles. Bud Dupree out there. I don't know. I really would not play Carson Wentz in this game, folks. It's just, unfortunately, they have to because they are down 0-2 in the record book. So, man, oh, man, tough for that. All right, now let's quickly go over the inactives and actives and questionables here for the 4 o'clock games. Darrell Henderson, running back for the Rams, is questionable. And this is kind of big because they are, like we said, they lost Cam Akers already. Little lackluster in the running department altogether. Let's quickly bring up who's kind of getting it done in the running game besides Darrell Henderson these first 2 weeks for this Rams team, who we potentially may have to rely heavy on here for the Rams because they've got a tough opponent here in the Bucs, so they're going to need all hands on deck. But I mean, week 1 against the Bears, Darrell Henderson was their best leading rusher by a mile, 70 yards on 16 carries. And then they still got Sony Michel, but he only had 2 yards that game. I think Sony Michel had a better outing in week 2. Let's get his stats up. So they're going to probably have to rely on Sony Michel heavily here if Darrell Henderson is a no-go. But that's still questionable. And unfortunately, we won't know for a couple of more hours. How unfortunate. But here we go. Last week, Darrell Henderson ran for 53 yards, and Sony Michel ran for 46 on 10 carries. So they could still utilize Sony Michel, but not having that dual threat back there should hurt the offense a little bit, and we'll see if they are up to the task of carrying the team. Matthew Stafford, can you carry your team without a running game? We'll see. Josh Jacobs is doubtful for the Vegas Raiders. And we just saw they didn't really run the ball a lot last week, right? Like, no success. Let's quickly get that up. We know that Josh Jacobs ended up playing last week, but he kind of was a little tweaked up after the first drive, so they didn't really run him that much. And they didn't really use anybody else besides Josh Jacobs. They used Peyton Barber, 13 carries for 32 yards. Rarely used Kenyon Drake, who couldn't get out to really anything. He had 7 carries for 9 yards. So we'll see if kind of those other backs here for the Raiders can get it done without Josh Jacobs. He's not going to be going. All right, Tua's out, like we said. Delvin Cook is questionable, but didn't we just say that Adam Schefter said he's probably not going to play here? So we'll see if that changes, but they really kind of do need him. So we'll see if Delvin Cook makes it. No Tevin Coleman, so the running game here for the Jets. A little bit of a running back by committee here with their rookie. We'll see if they can get it going with just the rookie out there. Jamison Crowder is doubtful again. Once again, truly going to hurt this Jets offense. And why? Once again, one of our official picks is Broncos minus 10.5. They're going against the Jets. Jets on the road, mile high. Zach Wilson coming off a 4-interception game. I mean, not having your number 2 wide receiver still out here. And it's going to hurt. What's his name? The main wide receiver here for this Jets team. I'm blanking on the name. Corey Davis. He got locked up last week because there was no number 2 wide receiver. Does he get locked up again? Does Zach Wilson throw more interceptions trying to fit the ball into Corey Davis because there's nothing else open? So a tough start here for the Jets. Jamison Crowder is still out. Rashad Penny, running back for Seattle, is out. D. Eskridge, wide receiver for the Seahawks, out as well. And Antonio Brown, like we said, for the Bucs is out. So we'll see how all these teams kind of do this week, obviously. Some big names out, some big names in, and it's going to make for an interesting week 3 tipping off in about half an hour, 30 minutes. So let's keep going here on what the heck is going on around the league. So here we go. The NFL, and this is good news. Good news here. NFL informed suspended former All-Pro wide receiver Josh Gordon that it is reinstating him. Yes, Josh Gordon is back in the league again. We'll see how long he lasts, hopefully for the rest of the season, and hopefully, no more suspensions, anything like that. But Josh Gordon can play as early as week 4 next week. He's good to go. He's going to be reinstated, and if a team picks him up, which they probably will, I mean, any team could really use Josh Gordon, his great speed, his great catchability. Obviously, he's been removed from the game for basically like 10 years, basically. But we'll see who goes out and gets the man. Obviously, the Jets are definitely a contender because of this Jamison Crowder injury, not able to go for the first couple of weeks here. So Josh Gordon is going to get reinstated, thank goodness. Hopefully, you don't even have to stay off the weed, but geez Louise, stop suspending the man for the weed, geez. But we'll see what happens with Josh Gordon. You never know what you're going to get with this man, but he's got great skill on the football field. So hopefully we can see him very, very quickly here. And if he returns in week 4, we'll see what team he goes to, and we'll see how he does. So, Josh Gordon back in the league. Thank goodness. Alrighty, a big game here for the Bills and a big game here for Josh Allen. The fans of Buffalo getting a little restless with this man's poor performances. Week 1 and week 2, they're 1-1. They just beat the Dolphins, but that wasn't really on Josh Allen. We took a look at that, not closing the door in the first half, and isn't it like 50% completion the first, like 50% completion percentage passing wise for Josh Allen these first 2 games? Nothing like what we saw last week. So Josh Allen has a little bit of a quote here, and I hate these types of quotes. I'm doing poor. I'm starting out slow just because I put so much pressure on myself, and my what does he say here? We're gonna, I demand so much of myself. I'm like, okay, that makes you bad because you work so hard and put a lot of pressure on you. That makes you bad. Isn't that supposed to make you better? It's making you bad. I hate that kind of excuse that kind of people use. It's not just NFL quarterbacks. It's literally everybody. I just put I'm a perfectionist. That's why this didn't turn out so great. It's like, that's not an excuse. You just complimented yourself but you're trash. You didn't get it done, but you're complimenting yourself. It's like, I just don't like it. But let's read the full quote here by Josh Allen. So Josh Allen, on his slow start this season, he says, quote, "It's no secret that I didn't play great last game. I demand so much of myself, and I want to execute at such a high level. When things aren't going well, I get so frustrated with myself. So I got to find a way to keep going, be light for the guys, and be the best leader that I can be for this team." So Josh Allen is saying, yeah, I knew I was going to be bad because I put so much pressure on myself. I put so much demand in myself to execute, and when things aren't going well, I just get so frustrated with myself, and then I don't play well. It's like, you should not be telling us those. You should not be saying these things. This is not a good look for Josh Allen. I'm a little disappointed in it. Obviously, I'm disappointed in the performance overall. I mean, we've been hyping up Josh Allen this entire offseason. We were really thinking this man is really it. Finally got going year 3. Now year 4, we're looking not for really a takeoff, but at least kind of sustaining what you were doing last year, and so far he is not resembling anything close to the Josh Allen last year. So is it the crowd noise? Are people locking up Stephon Diggs more? Was it a one-hit wonder season? Did literally all just the stars align for 1 year for Josh Allen? But I hate the quote right here. He's gonna have to put up or shut up this week. This week they're at home, so that's obviously great for Josh Allen, but he floundered last week at home. He's opening 3 home games here, folks. I mean, how much more comfortable do you need to be? You were at home against the Steelers. You were at home against the Dolphins. Now you're home against Washington. It's like, this was supposed to be you getting ready for the rest of the season, but now you're just trying to make it game by game. You were set up for huge success so far. Tua gets knocked out of the game. Like the first drive, second drive. You started that second game against the Dolphins at the midfield for your first 2 possessions, and he took advantage and scored a touchdown on both of them. One was a big running play. But this was supposed to be in week 1 against the Steelers. It's like Big Ben couldn't move the ball the entire first half. This was set up for Josh Allen to continue exactly picking up where he left off last season. But he hasn't done that, and now he's saying, well, I demand so much of myself. That's why I'm floundering here. It's like, what? That's the excuse you want to go with? That you demand so much from yourself, that you play so poorly? That's not telling me anything great. That's not kind of giving me any assurance that Josh Allen is going to get out of this and, return to form of last season. So Josh Allen making these excuses, absolutely hate it. Washington's got a great defense here coming into town today, but they're at home. Can Josh Allen, everybody in Buffalo just needs to really kind of shush. Nobody talk when Josh Allen is out on the field, and we'll see if the crowd noise is truly what kind of, messes with Josh Allen's head. But if you can't play well at home, what are we going to do on the road? And you got 3 home games out of the way. You better hope that you make the most of it and go 2-1. So we'll see what Josh Allen is doing here, but I'm a little disappointed in the man. Hopefully he can return to form. Don't want to kind of knock Josh Allen too much. I mean, I love praising everybody, folks. I mean, that's what this show is all about, showing the highest level, going at it, and everybody being good every week. We don't want to see trash. Why would we want to see trash when we can see greatness? I'm going to go with greatness every single time. And so far, Josh Allen is not living up to that greatness narrative that really everybody has set for this offseason. So we'll see what he does this week and if he has another stinker out there. Alrighty, I cannot wait to get to the story, folks. Jeez Louise. And how lame. Who blows somebody in for offering a bribe? If you don't want to take the bribe, that's fine, but don't blow them in. Maybe, that's the bad thing about the bribe. It's like, I don't know, is the other party on board with it? Let me throw out some feelers. Let me see. But, if somebody's bribing you, you don't turn them in. You don't rat on them. Just be like, nah, man, I'm not going to do that. And then you move on. Or I'll take that bribe. I'm taking a bribe. You bribe me, I'll take the damn bribe. You think I'm not taking no damn bribe over here? Here we go. Cowboys right tackle La'el Collins. We knew he was suspended, but we weren't really sure why. But now we have all the information. So here we go. Cowboys right tackle La'el Collins was suspended by the NFL after trying to bribe the league's drug test collector. What? Hey, folks, there's bribes going on. Don't pretend there's no bribes going on in just society in general. We're not going to, name specifics of who's bribing who, but there's bribes going on, folks. Don't be so naive that you don't think nobody's bribing anybody out here. So I don't care that La'el Collins was attempting to bribe somebody. I just hate that the bribe offer recipient snitched on him. That's like bribe code 101. If you don't want to take the bribe, you don't have to take the bribe. You don't have to take it, but don't blow somebody in for offering a bribe. It's a little lame out there. No, damn. Everybody want to snitch on everybody. Can y'all just stick to your own business out here? The bribe could have been good. We'll see what the bribe is. Well, hopefully they go. We got the article here so that we're going to kind of go through quickly. But, when you come out with the bribe, if you don't want them to snitch, you got to make the bribe pretty goddamn good. Pretty where they're kind of thinking about it. If you offer them a little bit of a disrespectful bribe, that's kind of when you get the blow in. Like if La'el Collins was like, hey, I'll give you $500 if you kind of, look the other way on my drug test. You're like, you play in the NFL, you're getting millions of dollars, you're offering me $500? I'd blow in La'el Collins if he offered me $500. So that is kind of the fine line. You do got to kind of, do kind of a substantial bribe, whether it's money or favors or whatever it is. It's got to be something truly great, because once again, the bribe recipient, the bribe offer recipient, it's called, they're probably, if you're offering a bribe to somebody, they're probably going to have to bend the rules or, do something not according to policy. I won't say necessarily illegal, but not according to policy. So you definitely have to make it worth the while of the recipient. But, if he offered him, hey, $1 million, and you don't take it, that's fine. I've got no problem with you, having a clear conscience and, doing the right thing. I've got no problem with that. But, you don't go snitch on somebody that offered you $1 million. That's a little disrespectful in return, no? So let's see all the information that we know so far about this bribing scandal. So here we go. Dallas Cowboys right tackle La'el Collins was suspended after trying to bribe the league's drug test collector, sources told ESPN. Players cannot be suspended for positive marijuana tests under the NFL's collective bargaining agreement. Oh, so Josh Gordon's going to be 100% good now. Oh my goodness, Josh Gordon, welcome back to the league, baby. No more kind of threat of him being suspended for marijuana, and that's the only reason why he's been suspended. So Josh Gordon's about to be living nice out here, folks. Woof. Man, all right. But Collins' issue was multiple missed tests in trying to bribe the test collector. The NFL initially was preparing to suspend Collins 5 games for his actions, but the NFL Players Association, aware of the intended 5-game suspension, helped negotiate a reduction to what would be a 2-game ban. Oh my God. Collins, however, appealed the suspension, and the appeal was heard by an arbitrator appointed jointly by the league and the NFL Players Association. The arbitrator not only rejected Collins' appeal, but also ruled that based on the evidence, the suspension should be increased back to the original 5 games. Oh my God. La'el Collins, what the hell are you doing? You got it down to 5-2. That's good. Only 2-game suspension. That's not bad. 5 games, that's real bad. 2 games, it sucks, but you can make do, and then you're back. But then you try to double down? La'el Collins, man, oh man, you're making a couple of mistakes here. Man, oh man. So back to 5 games here for Lyle Collins. How unfortunate. I want to know what the bribe amount was. What was the bribe? Hopefully they tell us. Collins' lawyer is attempting to appeal. Oh, geez. You probably should just leave it alone. Leave it be. Damn. This 5 is going to turn it into 7, to turn it into 10, turn in the entire season. Collins' lawyer is attempting an appeal of the arbitrator's decision, but league sources believe the suspension, which was announced on September 10th, will not be reduced. Both the NFL and NFLPA declined to comment this weekend when contacted by ESPN. Collins served the first game of his suspension in last Sunday's victory over the Chargers and will also miss Monday night's matchup against the rival Philadelphia Eagles. So, I mean, once again, you got to win out of one suspension game. You're kind of favorites here going into this game, and then you come back next week, week 4, but you wanted to kind of be like, no, I deserve nothing. I'm clean. I'm 100% innocent. I missed a couple of these tests. Oh, why'd I bribe somebody? That doesn't warrant a suspension, no? And the arbitrator was like, no, it does. No, it actually does. We're reducing or increasing this back to 5. What are you doing? So, Lyle Collins, man, oh man, not the best decisions out here. All right, last couple of paragraphs. Here we go. He believed he had a legitimate reason for missing seven drug tests. He believed he had legitimate reasons for missing 7 drug tests. Damn. One of which was scheduled for the day that Cowboys strength and conditioning coach Marcus Paul died in November. Collins missed another drug test the day of his uncle's funeral. A lot of death going around this man. Unfortunate. We sympathize with the man, and losing anybody is never great. So unfortunate there, but 7, I mean, where are these other 5 deaths coming from? You know what I mean? Collins is not the first NFL player to attempt to circumvent the league's drug testing policy. In 2013, the NFL suspended Denver Broncos star Von Miller 6 games after he was caught attempting to corrupt the drug test program with the help of a urine collector. If his suspension is not reduced or overturned, Collins will be eligible to return to the roster October 18th. Damn, you could have been good basically at the end of Tuesday. You got to return Tuesday, but now you got to return October 18th. Damn, the day after the Cowboys play the New England Patriots. The suspension will cost Collins roughly $2 million. So really, that's what the bribe should have been. About $1 million, 1.5, maybe even the full 2. That's what the bribe should have been. But the suspension will cost Collins roughly $2 million, and per the CBA, voids the injury guarantee worth $6.48 million in his 2022 salary. Collins has started 62 of the 63 games he has played for the Cowboys since 2015 at left guard or right tackle. He missed 13 games in 2016 because of a toe injury, and all of last season because of hip surgery. So, Lyle Collins, unfortunate out here. Unfortunately, we didn't get kind of the price of the bribe. That would have been great to hear, but I'm kind of assuming it was a low kind of bribe offer since the other guy didn't take it. But Lyle Collins out 5 weeks still. So we got 4 more games that he's going to miss, this Monday night game, and then 3 games after that. So far, they haven't really missed him too much. The running game last week was pretty solid without him. No, I mean, Tony Pollard emerged. Zeke Elliott was getting it done. So we'll see what they do here against the Eagles and if they truly miss him or not. But truly unfortunate out there. Alrighty, here we go. We can get more updated information here on Andy Dalton. So Bears quarterback Andy Dalton could miss additional time because of a knee injury, and that is great. Well, it's not great. Obviously, it's not great because Andy Dalton's injured, obviously, folks. But it's great because now Matt Nagy doesn't have to make the decision, Justin Fields or Andy Dalton, because we know when Matt Nagy is put in the position to make the final call on kind of 2 things, he always chooses the wrong one. All right, Matt Nagy, who do we bring in, to kind of, help out and be the number 2 to Mitch Trubisky? Well, let's bring in Nick Foles. That's the wrong decision. Right there. And then it's like, all right, do we bench Mitch Trubisky last year before Nick Foles? And Matt Nagy said, yes, that was the wrong decision. And then, it was like, oh, do we go back to Mitch Trubisky? Yes, middle of last season. And that was kind of the only good decision Matt Nagy has ever made because Nick Foles was not putting up any points on the board last season when he was starting. And Mitch Trubisky, he wasn't winning all the games, but at least he was putting up points. And for that, we loved it. But he wasn't winning games, and that's why he had to go, unfortunately. But he was putting up points, and Nick Foles wasn't. And now here, let's sign Andy Dalton in the offseason. That's a great move. Oh, now we have an opportunity to draft a rookie quarterback. That was another good decision to draft Justin Fields. I like that decision as well. But then it came time, hey, who's the starter, Andy Dalton or rookie Justin Fields? And we all know how that went. And then doubling down on Andy Dalton the entire offseason. That is the wrong decision. Now, he doesn't have the decision to make. It's Justin Fields. Andy Dalton can't go. So let's quickly see. This could potentially be a little bit of a more than a 1 week injury here for Andy Dalton. And we've already heard that Matt Nagy say whenever Andy Dalton is good to go, he's the starter again. So we hate that decision. So it's unfortunate that it has to take an Andy Dalton injury to 100% certify Justin Fields as the starter. But let's see what we're kind of talking about time-wise here with this Andy Dalton injury. So here we go. Justin Fields will make his first NFL start Sunday for the Chicago Bears, and there is a chance the rookie quarterback could get the starting nod for another game or two. Bears quarterback Andy Dalton, who is out Sunday with a bone bruise in his left knee, could miss an additional week or two depending on how quickly he recovers. Dalton has a bone bruise from his femur and tibia colliding, according to a source. Dalton did not suffer damage to any cartilage or ligaments and does not need surgery, but his return will be determined by how quickly the bone bruise heals. The Bears have not placed Andy Dalton on injured reserve, which would mandate that the 11-year veteran miss at least 3 games. There is hope with the organization that Dalton will return sooner than the 3-week threshold. Bears coach Matt Nagy said this past week that Dalton would remain Chicago's starter when healthy. The franchise entered the season planning to stick with Dalton as long as possible, allowing Fields time to grow during his rookie year. So this is going to be a huge game for Andy Dalton. If he comes out here, lights it up, wins the game, plays flawlessly, you can't go back to Andy Dalton. But if he comes out here, flounders, Andy Dalton's like, hey, I can go next week, they're definitely going to go back to Andy Dalton. But Justin Fields' main priority today is to make the decision on Matt Nagy of who's going to be the quarterback next week as hard of a decision as he possibly can make it. So we're rooting for Justin Fields. Obviously, we've been kind of, champions of Justin Fields starting from week 1. Obviously, we were wrong on that because Matt Nagy is a little stubborn out here, a little boneheaded, and I don't like it, but we'll see. So, Andy Dalton could be missing more than 1 game, but hopefully Justin Fields comes out here and lights it up where it's no longer a question of who should be starting. It's Justin Fields always. Alrighty, and then the last story to talk about here, great news here for the Saints. Definitely they need a home game to get this season back on track, so Jameis Winston can just light it up and air it out in front of his fans and all that to kind of get his confidence back up. But authorities have approved the Saints can return to their home stadium, Caesars Superdome, after Hurricane Ida. So thankfully they've missed, 2 home games because of them, or just the 1 home game? Week 1 they were supposed to be at home. Unfortunately, they had to go to neutral field. Last week they were on the road in Carolina. This week they're in New England, and then next week they get a home game. They face the Giants next week, so they will be able to play at home against the Giants next week, and we'll see what Jameis Winston does this week against Bill Belichick's defense, because next week could really be big for a home field advantage for the Saints if Jameis Winston once again doesn't throw for like 200 yards and throws a couple of picks and gets not even moving the ball, so they get kind of shut out, blown out. If that happens, next week's going to be huge. Rock and roaring fans to get back on track this season. But, if he has a good game, next week just kind of, they can build upon that. So, Saints are back in their home stadium come next week. Great news to hear. Unfortunately, they did miss that 1 home field game. And, you only get about 8 or 9 of them, depending on, if you get lucky or not because of the extra game this season. But, home games, you want to win all those, as though those are the easiest games to win, obviously. So, we'll see what the Saints can do at home come next week, but they're back, baby. The Superdome is back in action. Alrighty, those are all the stories that we just needed to cover quickly for today. Now let's head into, we got 12 minutes until kickoff, so let's see where these kind of lines have ended. Was there any value we missed? Did we get great value? Did we secure the value when we saw it? So let's just check where these lines are. So here we go, Bears, Browns. This is still at a 7.5 point spread here. Bears at plus 7.5, Browns at minus 7.5. Nothing really changing there. Ravens, Lions. Ravens came down to 7.5, minus 7.5 here. We locked it in at 8, so hopefully that half a point hook doesn't kill us this week. Cardinals, Jaguars is still at Cardinals minus 8. Really interesting that this didn't move either way, given all the actives and inactives now that DeAndre Hopkins is a good to go. Still the same line here. Chargers, Chiefs, this one is still at kind of 7. Chargers plus 7, Chiefs minus 7. It was kind of at 6.5 this week, so a little bit of a point edge here. Half a point hook, unfortunately. We get Saints, Patriots, and this came down to half a point. Real interesting. People are betting the Saints. So Saints plus 2.5, Patriots minus 2.5. We locked in the value at Patriots minus 3, and we're still feeling good and big about it. All right, this Colts-Titans came down a full point. Now that Carson Wentz is in the game. Colts plus 4.5, Titans minus 4.5. We locked it in at Titans minus 5.5. Or no, Titans minus 5, because the day we talked about it, it did come down to only the minus 5. But once again, another half a point deduction here. People are taking the Colts with the points. I don't think that's the right decision, the best decision. But we'll see who's right at the end of the day. Us or y'all. Us or y'all. We'll see. All right, Washington and Bills still at the 7 points here. Washington plus 7, Bills minus 7. Oh, and look at this. Falcons Giants has just came down 8 points. Oh my God. Why are y'all taking the Falcons? What are y'all loving about the Falcons, folks? No way. No way. So even better value now for us Giants takers. Giants only minus 2.5 points now. So unfortunately, we still have that half a point hook. Hopefully we don't get caught by that hook. We got caught by it last week with the Rams minus 3.5. They only win by 3. So Falcons here. People are liking the Falcons. I don't. What happened here? Anything happen here in the last couple of minutes to drive down this value, drive down this line? What's going on? What's going on, folks? I don't like the Falcons this week, folks. I can't find any one good point to kind of talk about the Falcons on. So, all right, we'll see. We'll see. Y'all know our pick. All right, Bengals, Steelers. Bengals plus 2.5, Steelers minus 2.5. Has this line changed at all? Was this at 3? Interesting. Let's go to Score Mobile here. They track the entire line. And this one started at Steelers minus 4, and now it's minus 2.5. Steelers minus 3 as well. So we'll see what this one's all about. But people are taking the Bengals with the points. All these outs here for the Steelers. Not a bad bet, I would say. All right, Jets, Broncos, it came down half a point. Jets plus 10, Broncos minus 10. Raiders, Dolphins plus 3.5, Raiders minus 3.5. Bucks, Rams, Bucks plus 1, Bucks minus 1, Rams plus 1. We got Rams plus 1.5. So we see these values coming down to like a half a point. Seahawks, Vikings, Seahawks minus 2, Vikings plus 2. What did this? I think this was a 3-point line as well. Let's track what this was been going on. Now that we know Dalvin Cook is probably going to be out, did that affect the line too much? So this started out at Seahawks minus 1, and now it's at Seahawks minus 2. So this went about a full point up with the Dalvin Cook news. And then Packers and 49ers is still at 3, and Cowboys, Eagles still at 3.5. So no real movement of the lines this week. Like we saw last week, a lot of movement with the lines. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. No real big movement here. And we are good to go for today's action, folks. We are 8 minutes out from kickoff today. So we are going to wrap it up, folks. Any good. And I'm actually going to give y'all a last second good pick here. We're going to go Giants. First points in the first half, I believe, is at 12. Let's see if that changed it at all. All right, Falcons the Giants points in the first half over 12.5. This is our live 7 minutes left before game time kicks off. If you're watching live, congratulations. Here's a free bet for y'all. Giants over 12.5 points in the first half. See what happens when you watch our kind of live kickoff show, pregame show. You get some better bets, folks. Come on, gotta be watching live. We're live every day, twitch.tv/takesbyfans, noon Eastern every single day. But we're loving this Giants team. All the actives here. We're gonna see Evan Ingram. We're gonna see Kenny Galladay. Some bad outs defensively there for the Falcons. I'm telling y'all, I'm ready to crown this one. I'm ready to say this one. Y'all ready for this one? Here we go. Best bet of the week right here. Giants -3. Folks, everything is just lining up. They got out to a slow start. They're ready to extinguish that. They got the Falcons coming into town that can do absolutely nothing offensively. Matt Ryan is one of the most milquetoast throwing quarterbacks that there is in this league. The 20 to the 20s, he's fine. In the red zone, he can score. He doesn't put up points, and they lose games. This is so lackluster here by this Falcons team, and the Giants are ready to come out on fire after the slow start that Kenny Galladay predicted. We just saw them kind of do decent last week against Washington, but now they're at home and are ready to rock and kill it and ready to kind of start the season finally here. So best bet of the week, folks, Giants -3, and then our special pregame bet right here, our live pregame show bet. Giants over 12.5 points in the first half. Watch for them to get out to a hot fire start here, and don't be surprised if this Giants team puts up 40 points this week, folks. Do I dare say that? Damn, do I dare say that? Can we do point totals? Are we going to do another great bet here? A live bet? Can we do point totals? I want the Giants at 40 points. Can I do that? Let's see. Game props. What do we got? Team totals. We got team totals anywhere. Where are the team totals? Total touchdowns, touchdown props, longest touchdown, field goal props, scoring specials. Here we go. Anything here? No. I want to bet the Giants put up 40 points. Where can I bet that? Winning margin, largest lead, tied after 0-0, 2-point conversions. I can't bet how many points. All right. I guess we will just take our 2 bets here for the Giants. Game lines. I don't think they'd be under here. Alternative totals. Nope. New York Giants. Oh, here we go. New York Giants under 47.5. Hang on, what? New York Giants under. I don't know what this means. Money line total points. Oh, money line with the total points. I get it now, folks. We get it. So if you want action for me, I'll take action on Giants over 40 points. Y'all want the action? Make bets with me. Hit me up on Twitter, DM me, and we will run the odds for y'all. Alrighty, folks, we are 4 minutes away from kickoff. We got to get out of here. Enjoy the full day of football, the 1s, the 4s, the 8s. Oof, can't wait. Alrighty, folks, we're back tomorrow where we break all down the action that happened today. We'll see you then, noon Eastern, every single day.